What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mike Thomas's garage. Out here in the garage this evening, I kind of got some things kind of situated. So as you can see, got the garage rearranged around. The 63s over there. Corvette is in storage and all that. So with that all being said, with the 63 being moved, we got us our work bay situated. So this is our work bay. Got our cleaning solvent, drill press, parts washer, workbench. And as you can see, we have our transmission set up there in the workbench, so we can start tearing that down and all that stuff. And then we got two motors sitting right there. That one's the boat motor, and this one here is the motor that we are going to be putting together. Don't pay attention to the LS motor or the LS intake. So the bag in the bag is the motor that is being built for, that's going to be built for this. So if you want to see that motor get put together, stay tuned. You will definitely see that motor get put together for this project. Right now I haven't got this one moved over on the lift. We got a few things that I'm going to try to get done before we can put it over on the lift. But it is pretty nice to actually have a work bay to actually work on transmissions and the motors and stuff. So I just want to give you an update, and we are going to also get into taking this transmission apart, this 4L60 transmission, which came with the LS motor that is going in the red truck. So we're taking the bell housing off, so we're doing that right now. I got two of the bolts right now sitting right here in the concrete, those two black ones there, because what we are having to do excuse me. So what we're having to do is we're having to heat up where the bolts are at. So you got this area. So these two we already have removed. So we already had to heat this up. Still pretty warm. So we had to heat those up to pull the bolts out. So yeah, those are the two bolts that we have out. So we have these two here, those two there, and then these two are right over in here. So once we get those two removed and all that, then we'll get the bell housing off and all that. So, and the reason why we are doing this is because the vehicle that this came out of was a 2003 Escalade. So it has the adapter and stuff on it for the transfer case for the four-wheel drive unit. Well, we are not going to need that for this, since this is a two-wheel drive vehicle. So we got the conversion, the tail shaft, the output shaft, and all that stuff to convert this to two-wheel drive. So, which I'll show you here in a minute. So I think I have shown it before, but I'll show it again. So that's the plan. We are going to be exchanging this. And so we got to take the internals and stuff out and all that. So I'm going to go over that. So right now, let me get you guys set up, and we get the rest of the bell housing bolts out and get that off, and then maybe get the oil pan off and actually see what the inside looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and change the filter for the transmission and all that stuff, and get it cleaned up and get it ready for when it goes into the truck and all that stuff. So let me get you guys set up, and then we'll go ahead and finish getting the bell housing bolts out of it. Okay, so we got that all done. Got all the bolts removed for the bell housing and stuff. So this is the torch that I had to use. You can pick this up at your local Home Depot, Lowe's, I believe. I got that one at Home Depot, but there's all the bolts. They're all hot. All the bolts are out of it. So we are ready to pull the bell housing off. And we'll kind of flip it up. I might pull the pan off and see what the underneath that pan looks like. So let me go ahead and get this bell housing off, and then we can go from there. Alright, so that was actually a piece of cake to get the bell housing off. Now we can be able to have access in here and get in here and work a little bit better to get this bottom part off. So let's see what's next. See, I think I might have to pull this bracket off right here, get that removed. Excuse me. So I'm gonna get this bracket off, removed, so this way I can drop the pan, and then we'll probably flip this over and get the pan removed and go from there. So let me pull this off, and then we'll flip this up and then get the pan off. And I usually put the bolts back in for the brackets, so this way I don't end up misplacing them or losing them. So okay. See, so now I think we can. There's a few things that I need to look up and stuff, so let me go check that out, and then I'll get back to you guys on this. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to see if I can get this part off without pulling the pan off right now. So let's go ahead and try to see if we can get this off before we get into the pan and all the internals. So. Okay, so now we got all the bolts out. We should be able to pull this right off like that. And that removes that. And I'll show you what will replace this to make it a two-wheel drive. Okay, now we still have some other stuff that I need to do to make this all official for it being a two-wheel drive. But here is the new tail shaft that will just bolt on. All the stock bolts will line up, and this right here is the two-wheel drive conversion. And then so here's all the O-rings and stuff that came with the kit. And then also here is the main thing that we need to get this to be extended out to here for the two-wheel drive for the 4L60 transmission. But this is going to be pretty cool, so I'm pretty excited, pretty stoked with that. So let's go ahead and drop the pan, and because there's a couple things in there that we need to disconnect to get the internals out and all that stuff. So let's drop the pan, see what that all looks like, and go from there. Okay, so we got the transmission pan off. Everything looks really good. Let me flip this around. So there's the transmission pan. Looks really good for 158,000 miles and stuff. I mean, everything looks good in here. I will be putting a new transmission filter on it. I will be replacing this and everything, so this way I know it's fresh for when it goes back in and everything. I also did see something that I didn't really care for on the output shaft here. I believe this is what this is called. So if you look closely right there, kind of right there, teeth are kind of messed up a little bit on that gear. That's kind of messed up. That kind of concerns me a little bit and stuff. I don't know if that would cause an issue or anything, so I'm gonna take a look at getting another one of those and stuff, seeing if I can get one just that instead of the whole tail shaft in and all that. So hopefully I can and all that. So probably before I go any further on this transmission, I'm going to see if I can get another one of those here and stuff, so that way at least this is not setting open for a few days. I'll just put the pan back up there to keep it closed up, and then look for the tail shaft, see if I can, or look for that, I believe it's the output shaft for this, for the two-wheel drive conversion. So hopefully we can get that, and then once I get that, then really it should be kind of a slam dunk to get this pulled out and changed over and all that stuff. So once I get this all done and stuff, I gotta go back and look to see what, there's something in here that I need to disconnect on the band and stuff, so this way when I pull this all apart, we can just pull it out. The valve body should not have to come all the way off. there's a few things that I'll have to disconnect here. So I'm going to look that up and see what the procedure is to disconnect that and slide everything out so I can just replace the output shaft and all that. So so probably the next video will probably be with me putting this back together and everything and stuff. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick little update on the garage and the truck. We are working now back on the OBS LS build and getting this going. We're going to try to get this. We're going to try to get this transmission converted over, so that way I can get this set in here and start figuring out other things. So I need to see if the cross member that is in the truck is going to work, or if I need to get a new cross member. So if any of you that has done an OBS LS swap on theirs, and if you had to change your cross member, please let me know if you did and what cross member you went to on your OBS swap kit and everything for this. So just for a reference, if you wanted to see, this is the cross member I have in mind. That cross member came with this truck and all that stuff. So if that'll work, cool. If not, if I have to change it to make this 4L60 transmission fit in there, please let me know and all that stuff. So it is really nice to have a work bay to actually do stuff and all that. So pretty happy with that. So excuse me. I'm a little sick, so bear with me. Trying to get through some of this, trying to fight through this and get through the medicine and stuff I'm taking. So, but not a bad start of getting this tore down and all that. I was a little skeptical about it, a little sketchy about it, I mean, and because I have never done a transmission before and all that. So this is going to be the first to convert this over and all that stuff. So I also got some lights hung up. I got this LED light here, and then I got one over there. This light I still got to pull down and stuff, so I'll end up, because that light doesn't work anymore and you can't get the ballast and stuff for them. I can't find it. So, and the light bulbs they don't have for that one, so we're gonna pull that one down. I got to pull that down, throw it in the trash. And so these two right here is replace that one, and it definitely brightens it up out here in the garage. I'm gonna get two more. I'm gonna put a light right down here, and then I'm gonna get one that's gonna probably end up going right here, and then I'll probably eventually get one to go right along here to brighten this up over here, since this is going to be the work area that we'll be building and working and stuff over here. So garage is coming around and everything. Pretty excited, pretty happy and all this. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming with the dread truck. Getting the motor fit in there and the wiring harness and stuff. So, and then once that one's done, we're back on this one. I'm getting excited to do this project here. So, but that's just kind of an update on the shop and working on the transmission. So if you ever have to remove the bell housing from here, you're going to have to heat it up right in here. And what that kind of does is it will expand the aluminum, and it'll kind of expand it to loosen up the bolts and stuff and all that. So so that's what I had to do. Did some research on that. You did have to heat that up, and that is a real good tool. That torch is really cool to use and work just fine. So so that's pretty much it. Just want to wrap this video up here. Hopefully once I get that output shaft, tail shaft figured out and get a new one in here, then we'll get this all switched out and get it hooked up and we can get this all converted from 4-wheel to 2-wheel, and then we can go from there and get it put in the truck and figure out the cross member and all that stuff. So sorry about that, jeez. So that's just an update on everything. Little work on the transmission today for the LS build and all that. So stay tuned. We will see you guys on the next one for when we try to get the transmission put back together and all that. So we also had the red truck down today, kind of going over the fuel system. I'll probably go over that with you guys tomorrow, maybe the next day on Sunday, and all that stuff. Kind of show you the fuel pump that we're running in this. And again, we're keeping the fuel cell in the bed of the truck instead of putting it underneath. So like I said, I'll show you what we have there and so on and so forth. So thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one. I really appreciate you guys watching. Please, again, like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what else you would like to see and all that stuff. So again, thank you guys again very much for watching. Really do appreciate it, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Later.